Today on Muddybeards 4x4, I got a big announcement on some future build plans for the Trailplug. Hey everyone, it is Robbie here with Muddybeards 4x4, and today I'm excited to announce some big future build plans for the Trailplug, my 1999 Jeep Cherokee XJ. But before I really get into what's about to happen to this thing, the big transformation it's going to take, you know, I've realized I've never really done an actual walk around on this channel of my Jeep, and I'm not going to go over every little bit, but I figured before we start tearing into this thing to rebuild it, I might as well show you a real quick walk around of how she sits right now. Drive her a little bit. Now my Jeep, or the Trailplug as I call her, sits on about 5 inches of lift, and currently it is sitting on some 36 by 1450 TSL Swampers. The front suspension is a pretty basic, just radius arm setup that I built a few years ago with a custom 3-piece cross member, just using a Barnes 4-wheel drive DIY kit. The front axle in my Jeep is the stock Dana 30 high pinion. It is pretty mildly built. I do have a little bit of trussing, C-gussets welded on here, and bigger, beefier lower control arm brackets. I also have chromoly axle shafts, hydro assist, 456 gears, and an Aussie locker. And I also have the WJ knuckle and big brake swap with some nice 1-ton steering. Now, as far as the rear axle, this is a 31 spline disc brake Ford 8.8 axle out of a Ford Explorer that is pretty much stock. I mean, it does have a truss on it, 456 gears and a Detroit locker, but it is stock shafts, stock everything, still a C-clip axle, and this thing as well has held up just awesome to off-road abuse. Now the Trailplug has been an awesome performing Jeep and has been a great, reliable off-roader. I've never really had any significant issues with this thing or catastrophic problems, and honestly it's been a ton of fun. But I simply think it is finally time to do some big changes on the Trailplug. Well, alright, it is time for the big reveal. And sitting here in my garage is a set of axles. This is a Dana 60 high pinion and a Sterling 10.5 out of a 2004 Ford Super Duty. And it's official. The Trailplug is going 1-tons.
Perfect. It's going to come down. Go down. Go passenger, passenger, passenger. There you go. Perfect. Yep. You're going to climb this. Yep. Straighten out, straighten out, straighten out. Right there, right there. You got it. Straight. Drive her a little bit as you come over. Driver, driver, driver. No, wrong way, wrong way. Another driver. There you go. Perfect. Go, go, go. Slow. Go.
Now I am super excited to announce this build plan for the channel, and honestly, I'm just excited to get working on my Jeep again. And you know, this was actually not a decision that I came to lightly. I actually thought about this for a long time, and when I first set out to build my Jeep, I never intended to do a full axle swap. And I mean, I was on 36s, locked front and rear. You know, I could do pretty much any trail around this area and still have fun and reliably go off-road. But I think that's one of the best parts about this hobby is that you constantly want to upgrade. You're always wanting to work on it and push your vehicle to the next level. And really the next level for me is I need to go bigger, all right? I need bigger tires, I want a bigger footprint, and so this was kind of the logical next step, and I'm excited to get started. You know, the Ford Super Duty axles have become a super popular swap option in the off-road world, and I think that's really, for a big part, is because of availability and price. They made a ton of these Super Duty trucks, and now they're starting to get old enough that the axles, you can find them in junkyards and other places like that, and they're still relatively cheap. Although I think that's kind of changing a little bit, at least here in the Pacific Northwest. I was having a hard time finding a set of these for a good price, but once I did, I finally decided to pull the trigger, and I can see why they are such a good swap option. This is a high pinion Dana 60 front axle that's already driver's side drop, so it's perfect for swapping straight into the Jeep. And the rear axle, this Sterling 10.5, has got a massive 10.5 inch ring gear, 35 spline axles. I mean, the thing is just pure beefy. So these axles are going to be a great swap for my Jeep. And really, I am doing nothing new. This is a popular swap. There are plenty of Super Duty swap Cherokees out there. But why do I think this is going to be a good build series for this channel is because I want to show you my take on it. I want to show you how I'm going to do this and from my perspective. And so I kind of had a few ideas, you know, everything from let's try to be cheap and simple, just get the axles under it, you know, reuse the leaf springs, try to make my front suspension work and everything, and just get this thing back out on the trail so I can enjoy it, to, of course, the full-on build, right? Completely redo the suspension, build the axles all the way up, RCVs, fancy lockers, all that stuff. And I think what I'm going to be doing is sort of shooting a little bit for the middle. So my plans as of right now are to try to keep the front relatively the same. I'm going to keep it coil sprung. I want to try to reuse my radius arm suspension. And if that doesn't work, you know, I might have some clearance issues between the upper and lower links. But I mean, I could just chop off the radius arm bracket, run another full length upper, and actually go with a true 3-link. So if I have to do that, I will. Now in the rear though, is definitely where I plan to change things. I want to go full 4-link, push the axle back, which means I'm going to have to either relocate or get rid of the fuel tank altogether. You know, 4-link suspension, and I'm thinking about doing air shocks. Actually, it's not something I've seen a lot of. I think they're a good option, and they're definitely a lot cheaper than, say, coilovers, and I think they should perform well, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest. Now, as far as the axles themselves, I do want to gear them 538 gears. I want to get as low as possible, and I think what I want to do is probably run just some spools, front and rear, to start with. And you know, if I want to upgrade and put some better lockers in there, some selectable lockers, obviously that's ideal, but I might just start with that option, spools. Spools work great, they're cheap, it's instant good traction. So obviously build plans change, and mine might too, but I'm just super excited to get started with this build swap series, and I hope you are as well. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and once again, I just can't quite describe how excited I am to start this build and really change the Trailplug here. So if you have any comments or suggestions, or maybe you like to see something, or maybe you have some advice on what I should do with this 1-ton swap, let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to see what you guys have to say, and maybe I might change some of my build plans or make some decisions based upon your comments. So let me know down below. And as always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber to Muddy Beards 4x4, make sure you click the subscribe button. And if you really want to support Kelly and I here at Muddy Beards and this build, go check out our website in the link below. And until next time, we'll see you on the trail.